Hey everyone. So why the dramatic title? Well, I guess I have to really say it that the truth is dramatic after all. So what's going on in my life? If you guys watch my health video, you know that I'm pretty sick right now and I don't really know what the cause is. And you may be thinking, why not just go to the doctors? Well, I did tell my mother like if this gets worse, I want to go to the doctors, but she keeps telling me to try all the other things, and I've tried all the other things and it's partially working. For example, I just finished this tablet. um, I'm sure you guys have seen the memes of the liquid form of this, but um, it is somewhat helping, but it's not permanent. And I just finished it. And I even bought this syrup, which I would say somewhat helps for mild. Hold on, let me show you it. This one. Um, this one, it somewhat helps for mild, like you could say, what's the word, heartburns and stuff like that. But um, at the end of the day, it's not like doing 100% better job than this, but still, this is also temporary. Anyways, the reason why my mother says this is not the first time she said this, by the way. For other sicknesses I've had, it's always been try this and that first and see. And the reason is that we just don't have enough money. And um, obviously, it's my fault. Ever since I turned 18, I should have been more, you could say, stalwart, sorry, steadfast into just making publishing books, because I've been writing a lot of stories, and there were times where I would procrastinate. Yes, a lot of times procrastinate. But at the same time, I would also, like, as I would be writing something, I would just like jump to a different story. And that's a big problem, because when you're working on something great, you think that's the best of it, of what you can really put out. But then you feel nervous, you feel afraid, you feel like this isn't the best, maybe you have to shelve this. And some of the stories I've been working on, it did needed a bit more like extra elbow grease. But for the most part, I feel like I could have at least published a couple of books. And when it comes to how many books I plan to write, I don't really know, but I have a bunch of ideas, maybe over 100 ideas. Each book could be connected to a series. Each of them could not be a series. Each of them just could be, like maybe like 600 pages or 300 or various amounts of pages. Some of them could be short stories. Some of them could be, you could say, heavy, really heavy stories. Regardless, I just have so many ideas for stories, so many ideas for comic books as well. You know, it's awesome to have these ideas. The problem is that I've never been publishing, and that's it. It's my fault for having cold feet. It's my fault for not getting out there and just putting something, even if it's sensationalist, just to kind of like, get some extra green bags. That would be lovely, because right now I'm working on a heavy series. Like, I'm toning it down a bit so it won't be super heavy, because I feel like what I'm writing is just a bit too extreme. Maybe I should tone it down just a bit, but regardless, it feels like I'm just sitting on the story for months and months, and I don't just want to only sit on that story. Yes, I can also work on two other stories. Sorry, another story too, which, I was, and then I took a break from that. But the point is that it seems like I'm just only focusing on some major stuff first. I should not be doing that. I should at least publish a couple of light stuff, and in the background I can work on the heavy stuff. And I should have been doing this for years. Maybe I could have published 10 books by now if that were the case. Just imagine that, if I actually published a lot of books even last year. That would have been so awesome, because then I would have had enough for a rainy day, like these days where I'm so sick. And honestly, I just have to keep blaming myself. So what's the lesson from this? There's nothing wrong with having like heavy epic series, but some of those series will require some planning, and the planning obviously won't just require a week. Sometimes it will require months or many months, and I don't have enough time to only wait for one book, because I was banking on this one book to be my first published book, but I can't be living in a fantasy, is what I meant to say before my SIM card provider sent me a message which cut my entire recording. Apparently, when my SIM card sends messages, sometimes they can have these powerful messages that can just keep your phone on when you have your phone off, or it can just cut a recording or something like that. It can really intrude on something if you're doing anything. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Okay, so today I was in the lounge, and as I was working on the book I said I wanted to publish first, struggling with some of the ideas, I I was just thinking, wait a minute, don't I have a couple of similar ideas to this? I would say similar as in like 2% similar, but it has a completely different audience, and it's heavily sensationalist, and that's not a problem, but I was just thinking that's heavily sensationalist. Why not publish that? And you know the more I dwell on those thoughts, the more I realize that I could have at least published 100 sensationalist books by now, and I would have had enough to like have for a rainy day. You know what I'm saying? But also I would have had enough time in the background to work with my heavier stories, my heavier fantasies. And the way I see it with some of my stories is that, for example, you could say on a scale of 1 to 10, one series could be on the scale of 10 as how epic it is. It's going to be that epic, that great. But then you also have like other series which could be like on a scale of 2, because I'm just what do you call it, you just write without really planning anything, you just go for it. That's interesting. That's one way to go about it, but sometimes you need some planning. Even for those kind of books, you at least want to have, at least you could say, a small guideline, just to keep you on track. But when it comes to some other series that I have in mind, some of them could be on the epic spectrum, like a 5, which requires some, you could say, some level of planning, but maybe not to a certain degree. It's just so complicated, but that's the best way to describe it, because I have so many ideas, and not every idea will be perfect. But I really will just publish the sensationalist stuff for a while and see what happens. um, I don't really want to tell you guys what that is. So yeah, but when you think of sensationalist stuff, I would say, if you want a clue, just think about all of those pulp covers, those early books from 100 years ago. Just think about those covers for a moment and think about the heavy sensationalist stuff. You may get an idea on what I'm working on. Or maybe if you guys watch some anime, you guys may have come across some heavy sensationalist stuff, which can give you an idea on what my idea is about. Because I feel like if I just publish more sensational stuff, and not just for like one specific audience, but if I have for like different audiences, short books, it could be like, hold on, it could be the size of this book. It could be the size of this Narnia book. This then, it's like 100 pages, easy to edit, easy to publish. Just imagine that. So yeah, I'm not going to give up. I don't want to give up on any of my epic series, because I think those ideas are pretty unique, pretty interesting, pretty fun to work on. But I feel like if I'm just going to dwell on them forever, I'm not going to get anything done. It's kind of like like the epic series is like blocking all the other stuff to go, and that's because I put that first. I put that as a primary goal, to publish that first, and then I can just do other stuff. But yes, those epic series need a bit more love and care, you know, tender love and care. But when it comes to like publishing stuff just to get money, I should have been doing this a long time ago, just for the sake of it. And it's my fault, so I have to keep blaming myself. And I know it sounds rough to blame yourself over and over, but who else is to blame? No one is out there to blame but me, you know. uh, Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, this very depressing video. um, yeah, so hopefully I learn a lesson from this. I mean, I did learn a lesson, a major lesson, and it's that you got to be prepared for what's to come. And I just have to be ready, you know. So yeah, have a wonderful day. Bye.